You can create mockup designs using random images. You can turn the image into a mockup design just as what you see on your screen. I can turn this into an editable mockup. So as you can see, stick and stay to the end as I show you how to create your personal mockups using random images. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Turn on notification to stay posted. Let's get started. This is one of the artworks I did for a random picture that I wanted to create a mockup. If you want to create a mockup from a random image, you need the image. You also need an artwork. And the third thing you need to do is to use perspective. This particular artwork fits perfectly well on the banner design. This is it. This is the perspective. If I click on this, you can see live perspective. We will get straight into this. We will create one example to wrap up. When I move the mouse pointer here, you can see rectangle. I drop this arrow down. You can see this is the rectangle shape. This shape fits perfectly well on the frame. You can see this looks transparent because I maxed the image right there, so that we can have this image inside. This is the actual image. And so one thing you should also know is you need to take your time to max the image properly before you apply live perspective, because if you don't properly do it, you won't get that, perfect look, that professional look. So with this image, you can see, if I zoom in, you can see it has tiny holes in there. When I move up, you can see the same down here. If I want to max this image, I switch to Pixel Studio. With this layer selected, this is the image layer. I have this option right here, object selection tool. If you are using Photoshop, it's called quick selection tool. I click on this. We have two options here. I select this selection brush tool, and then I take my time to select the frame properly. We have two options right here. We have add, we have subtract. If I want to subtract anything, this went outside the selection, I need to use subtract. So I switch to this, and then I click to subtract it. So you need to take your time to select it properly. Then you can click on backspace to create a transparent max. So if I press backspace on my keyboard, you can see it's off. Let me quickly explain to you how live perspective works. I press U on my keyboard and then I draw a shape like this. So I want this shape to pick the form of this screen here. In the Pixel Studio, I click on perspective tool, and then I can adjust the shape of this rectangle to fit the shape of the screen. So that is basically the work of live perspective. So something like this. I zoom in to check. Alright, so this looks perfect. And then the next thing I will do is to place this rectangle in between this image layer, because when I turn this off and I turn this off, you can see this is a transparent screen. I have already showed you how to create max with selection. So this is it, and then I drag and drop this in between. The next thing I will do is to place the artwork or to place the image inside this screen here. When I do that, the image will pick the shape of the rectangle like this. So you can see it right there. The next thing I will do is to have the reflection of the screen on the image. So this is the reflection of the screen. It is a digital screen. So I turn this on and then I change this blend mode to screen. You can see the texture of this image here reflecting on this image. The work of screen as blend mode exposes highlights. I need to review the shadows on the screen. Let me turn this off. You can see on this screen we have portions of it looking dark and then portions of it looking bright. With this layer selected, I click on adjustments and then I click on levels. Drag the slider here to review the darkness on the screen. So this is how it will look like. So now you can see when I turn this off, there's a difference. I want this logo inside the screen. I drag and place on top, so you can see the difference. This is how you can create mockups on random images using live perspective. Let's jump on to create another example. I will use this concept. This is the image I am using for a quick example. There are two methods I can use to create a mask on this image. The first method is to use the pen tool. The second method is to use the quick selection tool or object selection tool. I prefer to use the pen tool because it helps me to create the selection manually. Let's start with the pen tool. I press P on my keyboard and then I can create the selection on the image. I zoom in. I will start from this point. I click to make a point, and then I click to make another point. I make another point here. I click to make another point here, and the final point to lock this. But before I do, let me turn this off. You can see the edges at the top is not a straight line, so I need to use the pen tool to adjust the shape of the selection. Alright, so something like this. I will leave a download link in description for you to have access to the mockup files. This is the reason why I stated you need to take your time when you are using the pen tool to make a selection. Alright, so finally I have created the selection. I turn this on. You can see up here we have two options. We have max, we have selection. I prefer this, so selection, and you can see how beautiful it has created the selection. The next thing I will do is to press backspace on the keyboard, and you can see we have our transparent background created. So this is the max. The next thing I will do is to create a shape inside this frame, and I will use the same size of the shape to create the artwork to fit perfectly well into this frame. I press U on my keyboard, which is the shortcut. I select the rectangle tool and then I draw a shape like this. And then I move this shape layer in between these two layers. So now it's inside the frame. The next thing I will do is to create an artwork inside the shape. I click on transform to get the exact dimension for this particular shape. So I press Ctrl N on my keyboard and then I copy this and I paste it here. I repeat the same method. I copy this and then I paste it right here. I have the dimension for the shape. I click on create. At this point, I want you to pay attention to every step I will take on this particular design. Let's get started. Finally, I'm done with the design, and the next thing I will do is to create a clipping mask of the artwork into this shape layer here. I click on file and then place. This is the artwork. So there you have it, and then I drag and drop on top of this to create a clipping mask. So you can see the artwork is perfectly inside the shape. Finally, I'm done with the mockup design, but there's one more thing I want to do. I want to create a reflection. Just as you can see, there's a reflection here. I have this image I want to use, but let me turn this off. You can see there's a reflection on this image design. So I want to use this as my reflection. I drag this image layer into this rectangle, and then I turn this on. So you can see the image is inside the rectangle. The next thing I will do is to change the blend mode of this image. I change this blend mode to screen, and then I drag this opacity to 30. So this is ideal. You can see there's a reflection. This makes it a complete professional mockup design. Whenever you have a mockup image like this and you want to create your own mockup, try and get an image and use it as a reflection. It can be any image or any texture you can use. The reason why I chose to use this image is because we have a reflection like this. A big thank you to everyone. I have achieved 500 subscribers on the channel. Thank you so much for being with me. If you found this video very helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, share, and leave your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.